Hello, welcome to the Ones to Know. I'm Kelly, the regional director here at Kuper Sotheby's, and today I have with me Joe Longton. Thanks for joining me, Joe.
You're totally welcome.
We are excited to have you. You have been doing real estate for about 40 years,
Yeah.
which is incredible because you look so young.
I usually just say 30 plus.
Okay.
So I don't have to date myself.
No judgment.
Yeah.
And you've been with Kuper for how long?
At least 10 years.
Yeah?
So I
Yes.
don't actually know the time anymore, but it's about 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Top agent. You've had an incredible career. So
I
thank you
have.
for spending time with us today.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about what you're seeing in the market
Yeah.
and all of that fun stuff. But before we get into that, what is your goal for 2025?
Well, I mean, the goal for 2025 is just to enjoy myself here. I joined the Lewis Group within Sotheby's, and so I'm having a good time with Kirk Lewis, my business partner.
Yeah.
And so my goal is just to really just actually enjoy this year, make plenty of money. We got to do that too.
Yes.
But it's really just to really enjoy myself in this atmosphere that Kuper Sotheby's provides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about how you met Kirk. Some of my favorite stories.
Well, I mean, actually, Kirk actually, years ago, I was going through a transition in my life, you could say, and I was buying this new house, and he actually was the agent representing it, and he had a group of guys that he represented as investors, and so it was an investor of property, and I bought it to live in.
Really?
So I met him, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
you did a transaction
Yeah,
together.
then later, I was at a closing with him for something, and he kept getting phone calls, and I was wondering, he seemed pretty busy, and I was a realtor at that time too, but turned out that he was working for a company that gave him referrals and so forth, and so we just got in a long conversation like that, but and then we just became better and better friends. So we became friends really at a closing.
Yeah.
And then, I really like him a lot. He likes me a lot, so we're now together.
And you'd have to know, if you saw both of them together, they get pretty competitive.
Yes, we are.
And over the years, and it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, we worked at a different company together, and we were both top producers there. So we were always competing for the number one spot.
And who won?
It would change over, yearly.
I think he's saying he won.
No, I'm saying we both won.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So throughout your career, what are some highlights? What would you say gave you the success that you have now?
Well, I mean, I'm actually kind of an aggressive kind of sales guy. So I like to cold call and approach people. And so if I have a skill set, I think that's probably getting to know people really fast.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I have
Yeah.
to say, of
Yeah.
all the people I hear on the phone, you
Yeah.
are so good
Yeah.
at making calls.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like it. So it's kind of a challenge. And so there's just lots of people in this world who really don't like salespeople. So you have 5 minutes to kind of make them like you.
Yeah.
So I've been pretty lucky in that. And then I've had a lot of really amazing breaks, just representing large subdivisions that were being newly developed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working on the land with the owner. Then they hired me to represent the subdivision. So for instance, the last one I did that was a big one was Rough Hollow, and I was a project manager for that deal. But before that was Costa Bella, which is a major development. So
Yeah.
we had 54 luxury homes there, all over $1.5 million, and I had the exclusive listing on all of it. So I was the project manager, exclusive broker, and that was a blast. But I've had 4 of those situations.
Those are
You know,
huge projects.
big
So how do you
projects.
maintain your residential business as
Well, it was
representing
a residential business because I was the exclusive broker on it, but I was also managing the whole marketing program for each of those developments.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
And
just
is
worked
that
out.
where your master's degree in public relations and
Uh,
planning and development
planning
kind of comes in? Okay.
That's really what it is. Yeah.
Nice.
So all that worked out, and I've been lucky. I've got some great breaks. But in multiple places, I went back and started reading something I wrote for some magazine article that I was in, and it was just fun to read it and kind of reflect on the good fortune I've had
Yeah.
in business.
Well, there's been so much growth in Austin, so obviously you attributed to that. And your residential business that you have now, is it resales from those previous projects, or?
I have a number of clients that I have repeat business with. I mean, one guy was just on the phone a couple minutes ago we've done, I think 12 transactions together over the last 12 years.
That says
That's
a
a lot
lot.
of transactions when you're talking Westlake.
Well,
So,
and just
yeah.
relationship development, right? Like
Yeah.
to
We're
maintain a
friends.
client for that long,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
Yeah. I'd say that, uh, there's something happens. I feel lucky that I'm really friends with a lot of my clients. So that's just a really good reward.
You're
I'm
really
good enough. I'm
likable.
smart enough. Well, by golly, people like me.
So likable, Joe. I love it. Oh,
Let's not overplay that, but no, I'm likable enough. So
so if we were to get in some, good conversations,
yeah.
how do you feel that the political climate is playing into what we're seeing in the current real estate market?
Well, that's a good question, but I actually believe that it's all going to come out okay. Believe it or not, I've been through enough political and economic cycles, at my age that things just seem to clean themselves up and become good again. And I really believe that there's going to be something good come out of all this. There's a reason for everything
Yes.
in life. So, but ultimately, it's going to be something positive comes out of everything negative, or what we perceive as negative, because we don't like change.
Yeah.
So it's really just about changing some things to make things work a little bit better in our world.
And our real estate market seems to, cycle.
Yeah.
So is there a comparison to what we're seeing now?
Well, we react to everything that's in the world. So, if the tariffs and all this stuff scares the heck out of everybody, but but then there's gold and Bitcoin to kind of counterbalance that. So,
Yeah.
it all works out. I mean, I honestly just can't live in fear.
Have you
So,
sold a property with Bitcoin yet?
no, I have never sold a property. I own Bitcoin, but I don't. But I have never sold a property with Bitcoin.
Still waiting to really see
Yeah.
that come up. A few have happened,
Yeah.
but we don't see it as much as kind of
Yeah.
we would think at
I
this
don't
point.
think that going to be that big of a phenomena. I mean, in the real estate market, it could be in the future, but that's probably beyond my time frame at looking at things.
Yeah.
So I just know that what looks now like maybe a somewhat slow market, or we're not as strong as we were in 20 and 21, whatever those big years were that we all had. Um, feel like it's just gonna we're all gonna do fine, and I think within the next 2 years we're gonna easily have the greatest economy in the world.
Okay.
So that's it always seems to come back to us.
Yeah.
And then Austin's probably one of the coolest cities in the United States right now.
It is.
Everybody wants to be here.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the tech stuff helps. But
Yeah.
because we did have such a huge demand, so much growth so quickly,
Yeah.
a bubble, I hate to say that word,
Yeah.
but, do you think that we are seeing kind of the bottom of the pricing dropping, or will there be more to go?
Well,
What do you think?
there's different tiers, and I feel lucky that I'm working in a price point tier that is higher, and I think the people that I sell to are have greater immunity to the cycles. They still seem to have the extra money to buy a 3, 4, 5, $6 million, $10 million house. There's not a million of them out there, but there are still a large number, and they're looking and hunting, and they're I think there'll be a number of people pulling triggers on relatively high priced properties in the next 3 months. They're waiting for maybe another price drop, or they're waiting for some owners to say, okay, I'll give up $1 million.
Mhm.
I was asking 10, but I'll take 9, or something like that.
Yeah.
And
So
so I
if
feel
there's
like
an opportunity, jump
there'll
on
be some number that everybody agrees to,
it. Hmm.
and somebody who, in my mind, somebody who was maybe looking at a $15 million house a year ago, or a year and a half ago,
Hmm.
2 years ago. I think they're maybe looking for a $12 million house, or $11 million house, or maybe even a 10.
Hmm.
But that's still $10 million that that's out there looking to spend some money.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it. It's just that maybe there's an adjustment, but there's a whole lot more people who buy the type of real estate that we sell at Sotheby's.
For sure.
Yeah.
And speaking of tariffs, so the existing inventory that we have, do
Mhm.
you feel like that is going to make that more valuable versus new construction because of the cost of the build, or how do you foresee that playing out?
I think if a buyer's ready to buy, he's going to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I just signed a deal with one of my clients, and we're going to build um, a 8,000 square foot house for $15 million on the water
Okay.
on Westlake Drive.
Wow.
And now 2 years ago, we probably would have wanted $20 million for the house, but he's going to build it. He's going to build it and sell it. We're going to sell it for, we got a good buy on the property itself when he purchased it. So we're going to end up, we'll end up selling it for, $15 million.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe I'll sell it while it's being framed.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's people out there who can do that. There's a lot of them.
That are still buying pre-construction.
I'm buying anything. I mean, just call it pre-construction, call it completed construction. And I understand you're asking me, are the tariffs going to cause construction to go up in price?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure on some level it's going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think our buyers, the buyers who buy this type of property, are just have a great deal of flexibility, because as the world costs more money, they make more money.
True.
So I mean, it's just benefit of being somehow associated with AI. So, and we've just got some really great buyers. They're so young.
Yeah.
I mean, I have several long-term clients that just call me Uncle Joe. I mean, it's a joke, because you should really be a Granddad Joe or something like that. But, it's like,
No.
I have a running joke with one of my clients who's in their late 30s, and I've sold them a great deal of real estate. And,
Side note, he is the cutest grandpa.
Yeah, well, there you go. But I mean, I do have, when my kids were growing up, all their friends would call me Uncle Joe. That was how that came about. So
Yeah.
one day I was just making a joke with one of my clients when I was getting to know them a few years back, and so why don't you guys call me Uncle Joe? So then they stuck with it, and now it's our little joke.
I love it.
So yeah.
Okay, so if you were telling investors, or if you were investing yourself, what part of Austin, north, south, east, west, do you feel like is going to be the best investment for the next?
Well, I think
several years?
what we're kind of discovering here out of this office is that all of a sudden Terrytown has gotten to be really hot. It's almost like anybody with, Westlake's always hot, especially Westlake waterfront.
Mhm.
That's good. There's been a few, most of the sales that are going on are private market sales, so we don't see them in the MLS. And so, but they're happening.
Mhm.
And I mean, there were 2 waterfront lots that sold us in the last 12 months. They were private market that, that I know about, and other people here know about it. But
Yeah.
I've just kind of seen a little pattern here in the last 3 months out of our office that Terrytown's gotten pretty hot.
Yeah.
So I think that for some reason it's just the place where a lot of people just said this place clicks all the safety buttons everywhere.
Yeah.
So, and you've seen it. You manage us, so you're looking at the sales, and you know what I'm talking about. Terrytown is
Big
probably
numbers.
high on the list, and they're running anywhere from $3 million to 30 million.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's location, schools.
yeah,
There's so much great, new construction or infill construction that's happened in that area, beautiful homes.
Yeah.
And it's just a really good quality of life for Austin, where you don't have to commute or get stuck in traffic.
It's access to private schools, by the way, because they're really not going to Austin IS, AD. So they're really going to St. Andrews and things like that.
For sure. But
So-
Cassis is a great school.
Cassis is a good, so
Then they
elementary
move
school,
on.
Cassis, and then when you know it's Cassis, you're going
Yeah,
private.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are just taking the kids directly to the private schools.
Yeah.
Because they can.
Yeah.
So,
And you've lived in many different neighborhoods in Austin. Do you have a favorite?
well, the one I live in, I own a house in Zilker. So,
Okay.
and I love that neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's just kind of cool. It's hip. Can listen to the concerts at nighttime right from my
That
back
is
porch.
True. That's
So,
nice.
yeah. So I love Zilker.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I mean, I love Westlake Drive because I've sold a lot of houses on Westlake Drive on the waterfront there. But Zilker, from a family standpoint, and my granddaughter, two of my grandkids actually go to Zilker Elementary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so close by, and you just have to understand the mystique and mystery around Zilker Elementary.
yeah,
I mean, it's just a cool place.
it is.
Yeah.
It's good quality of life for
Yeah,
kids.
great quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
It's a diverse group of people.
Yeah.
So
Love
we've
it.
got them all.
Yep. Okay. How do you feel like your 2025 is going to round out as we kind of head into second and third quarter of
Mm-hmm.
the year?
Well, I just feel like it's going to be steady as you go. I mean, we're kind of pacing ourselves, but we have a number of projects I think that are about ready to come to fruition.
Mhm.
I mean, the one I just told you about, that I know that we'll sell this $15 million waterfront before the end of the year. And it'll be a deal where we'll probably be able to get the slab in and start framing. And at that point, the guy will buy out the builder
Mhm.
and do that. But I think that we'll we'll see a number of deals like that
Yeah.
happening. I just feel like there's I think a lot of the fear that's in the market right now is going to disappear the next couple months. And once everybody realizes we're going to be safe, this is okay. This is just America recreating itself one more time. It's happened many, many times in our world. And you typically only get 50% of the people agree to what's going on.
Yeah.
But the reality is it all comes out, and later on we go, boy, we're living in more fear than we should have. So if I had a recommendation for anybody, just skip the fear and just know it's going to work out.
Well, from my perspective, looking at the numbers from the offices
Yeah.
here in Austin, you know, it's fluctuating each week. It's like we're
Yeah.
bouncing along the bottom.
Yes.
Are you feeling that as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's inconsistent,
Mm-hmm.
at the moment, but if you look at it with the longer projection, which you have to do because you're making projections for the company and so forth, I think that the reality is that it's all going to come out at the end,
Yeah.
and it's all going to be great.
Yeah.
And I really do believe we may need another month or two, but all the, a great deal of the fear is going to go away, and we're going to, okay, we're okay. The world's not ending.
Yeah.
And again, we have such a strong basis of buyers, that who live here, who are in AI. I mean, most of my buyers are in their 30s. And you might be looking at me going, why is the buyer buying from the 30s? Well, they, it's okay.
I'm not surprised. They trust your wisdom, guidance,
whatever,
in all the neighborhoods.
So
yes.
we have really, I would say just most of our buyers are pretty young.
Yeah.
And they're great to work with.
Yeah.
A lot of them are engineers, so they like salespeople because our personalities kind of round out their kind of data-driven kind of deal. So we'll give them the data.
Where are they moving from? Are they
all over?
Yeah.
All over.
Still seeing all
But there's
over?
a lot of people moving within the city too. But or decide they want a ranch to add onto their house or something like that. But we're seeing them coming everywhere from New York and Florida, and some from California. Not as many as everybody would like to believe that everybody's leaving California, but that's not true in our experience.
Yeah.
So
I know you're a Michigander.
I am.
Do you see a lot of other people migrating south from the north?
I think I've met one person from Michigan besides myself.
No way.
No, I'm not seeing very many people from Michigan. No.
Okay.
I go back there quite a bit.
Yeah.
I go back at least twice a year.
Yeah.
I was just in Ann Arbor just this past week.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, visiting family that lives there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
so beautiful,
that's
especially
really
as it's going to
pretty
get
place.
hot here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but in terms of buyers from Michigan, I just haven't, for some reason, we must be missing each other. But New York, yes. California, yes.
Yeah. It's
Florida, yes.
like definitely the coasts
Yeah.
tend to come
Yeah.
here for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think will be the next thing when it comes to AI in real estate, agents and real estate commissions? We've had so many changes, so many new updates in our just industry in general. Where do you see that going?
Well, I mean, I think everybody's going to tell you we're all learning ChatGPT. Okay, and we're all trying to get as good at it as possible. I'll write something up and then hand it over to my assistant Ivan and so forth, and let's rewrite this or in ChatGPT. So that is kind of like so everything is going to has to be rewritten now, and that's just the beginning of it. I mean, there's so many things that are coming out of AI. I mean, it's a revolution.
Yeah.
And I think we should all embrace it.
Yeah.
It just makes us way more efficient.
It is.
So,
it
yeah.
really does make us more efficient. Do you have any fears that it will completely take over what we do as
No.
agents?
I don't have any fear of that at all.
Yeah.
No, this is still a business of personal relationships. Everybody wants efficiency, but once in a while they want to know that they're a human being.
Yeah.
So the skill set I try to practice, I don't even try to practice. It's just who I am. I like to become friends. I'm almost friends with every single person I sell to or have sold to, and I typically sell more than once to the same people.
Yeah.
So I have many people I have 4, 5, 6, 7 transactions with over a long period of time. So they're friends.
Yeah.
They're business friendly or whatever you want to call it. We do some things together, but people still like to have a human connection. That's never gonna change.
People don't realize how emotional right,
Oh gosh.
a transaction,
Yeah.
buying or selling a house can be.
Yeah.
Yes, the contracts and, all of that can be done by AI, but that emotional breakdown that they have in the middle of the night because some major repair or,
Yeah.
is this the right choice or am I spending the right amount? That takes human connection for.
Yeah. One advice I give to a lot of the younger agents is that it does seem like the agents who are 30 years of age or younger
Mhm.
like to text only. So they don't really like to get on the phone and have a conversation and work a final deal out.
Mhm.
So and I'm completely the opposite. I want to be on the phone with somebody and see if I can work a deal out.
Yeah,
So it's a different generation of people, but I tell people don't lose connection with your connection
true.
with people. And
Yeah,
you can do that by being a little overly dependent on text messages because text messages just don't really relay the nuances that
sure.
need to be, and they don't really handle the emotional upsets that come with
Mhm.
the business or the emotional needs that people have when they're buying and selling.
I agree.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and
that's my advice.
I definitely try to that's really good advice
Yeah.
because I do think that a lot of people are not really afraid to pick up the phone, but they just feel like it's more efficient and people don't wanna talk to them anyways, but yeah, as soon as there's, any type of, upset or, negotiation, it's always best to get on the phone but voice to voice, so you can really hear, what that person's
Yeah.
going through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a human trait that we're not going to lose that, and that's never going to disappear from this business.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually the final kind of key thing from making a good agent great.
Mhm.
There's you have to make that connection, and then with these buyers and sellers, and then become a long-term relationship with them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I think the best agents in this group here, and there's a lot of them in this downtown office, obviously. And I see the same thing. All they all have these long, really fantastic relationships with these customers
Yeah.
and clients.
Yeah.
So I think we definitely kind of, it just seems to be part of the culture, at least of this group.
Mhm. I
You know,
agree.
yeah.
Well, as we round out today, tell me a little bit about what your favorite thing of doing and worst favorite thing about being an agent for all of these years.
I actually, it sounds corny, but my favorite thing is actually talking to people on the phone.
Yeah.
So
You are.
and hanging out with them and hanging out with my clients. So I do a little bit of hanging, not a whole lot, but I do a little bit of hanging out with them, and
Yeah.
so they're just fun. And uh, to me, the personal connection is great.
Okay.
What I don't like the busy work. I don't like. I'm doing a research on a project right now for something I'm going to do, and I really like to hand it off to somebody else to do because
Yeah.
I'm really not I'm not the busy work guy.
Yeah.
I'm more the socializer.
I could see that.
So yeah. So
Good.
give me something to socialize with. I'm there.
You are very fun. I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I
Sure.
look forward to watching the rest of your year and how
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
continue to do such big
Yeah.
transactions. And yeah, we're happy to have you here at Kuper.